maybe credit. Depending on the part of the world where you are. In Africa, we usually use the word loan. In some western part of the world, they use the word credit, a bank credit or a loan. Okay, however, please, let's establish this. We are not referring to mortgage purpose, because actually that's the difference between the poor and the rich. Like, the rich, they borrowed money from the bank to start something, to buy a house, to invest, to create another source of wealth, to do something that is even capable at the long term to pay back and refund that loan. But the poor, what do we do with our loans or the credit we take? To boost our expenses. You wonder what I'm trying to say? That is the reason why we are actually here today, to ask ourselves few questions before we take either the loan from the bank, from a friend, from a cooperative association, from a financial institution. No matter how little it is, should it be a little loan of $10, $20, $50, or 10,000 naira, 50,000 naira, or even as much as ₦1 million or tens of thousands of dollars? First of all, ask yourself, why do I want to take this loan? You wonder, yes, but I have my reasons. But let's be sincere. The second question, in the next 2 weeks or in the next 2 months, will this particular need still be urgent, still be reasonable enough for me to take this loan? You wonder what I'm trying to say. Firstly, if you think, okay, why do I want to take this loan? You have an answer to it. Ask yourself, in the next 2 weeks or in the next 2 months, am I still going to be in this situation whereas I'll be so urgently in need of this particular money to take it? You wonder what I'm trying to say? It is because most of us, the little money we take or the loan we take to boost actually our expenses, we believe that, oh, I need this money, I need to get this. But in actual fact, it's just a want, it's not a need. We can actually scale through. We can actually survive this. I'm not talking of you taking a loan, maybe for health reasons. You need to take care of a sick partner, a sick family member, and due to this, you run helter-skelter to friends, to get a loan from them. I'm not talking about this. But more than 70% of us, or more than 70% of those that are indebted, actually are on consummation credit. That is, we borrow money to buy clothes. We borrow money to buy perishable things that actually do not add value to our lives, but add only value to our self-esteem. Many of us borrow money to buy cars. Excuse me? Like, take money, pay an interest on it to buy something that, except you have good, genuine reasons, but maybe to please someone, to boost your self-esteem, to improve your self-respect. A car is a perishable good. Yes, take it or you leave it. A car does not appreciate in value, it depreciates. However, the loan you take is appreciating in value, because anytime you fail to pay back the loan, the interest rate increases. Most of us, the car we buy gets destroyed or pack off even before we finish paying back the loan. Excuse me. Many of the youths in our generation, we even go as far as borrowing money to buy a cell phone. Ask yourself a question. What if in the next 2 weeks you were attacked by maybe some thieves and the cell phone was stolen, whereas you're still going to be paying back that money for the next 24 months? Whereas you can manage at the moment to stay without it, manage up yourself, save something little and go for your level. But it's a pity. According to some few research, I won't say I've been making, but some financial institutions which I also follow up a few of this research, 70% of the debt owed by people are for consummation, are for day-to-day expenses, are actually invested in things that does not appreciate in value. Especially in Africa, it's so painful. You see couples going as far as selling landed properties, borrowing left and right just for a day wedding. Excuse me, for crying out loud. In the next 2 months, when you look back, will you be proud of what you did? Whereas you can do something very reasonable with that money, even should you have it. Why are you doing this? Let's ask ourselves this question. It's to please people. It's to create an impression. Okay, should you believe what I'm saying does not actually make sense to you? Ask yourself this third question. All right, I'm taking this loan or this credit from a friend or from a financial institution. I have a genuine reason for taking it. Okay, it's actually urgent. Even in the next 2 months, I still need to take it. Ask yourself now, do I have a stable means to pay it back? That is where most of us will miss it. You think you have a stable means? Who could have predicted that COVID-19 would have landed us in this big mess? In some parts of the world, they are still on continuous, curfew, lockdown, restricted workspace, and a lot of restrictions on some work. A lot of people are exhausting what they have in their reserve. A lot of people are losing their job. Now imagine you have like 3 current loans ongoing: a car loan, a house loan, and maybe a loan you took to pay your children's school fees. Please, how will you cope? How will you cope? Ask yourself the question. How will you survive? When I mean a stable income, that is to say, an income that is not dependent on someone else's capacity. Yes, underline that. And what do I mean? That is not dependent on salary. Because what if you lose your job? What if your boss decides tomorrow to sack you? That is how a lot of us have gotten ourselves into big mess. You're asking me, it's because I don't understand your suffering. Please, I understand. Let us learn to cut our coats according to the number of yards we have. If I'm having a little piece of cloth, I cannot sew a long gown. I might only do like a bow tie, just to make a design. Or I do like an hair tie, like most of you that follow my channel, I always tie something to the front of my hair. Because I'm having just a very little piece of cloth. But should I have like 3 meters long or something, depending on the measurement, then I can decide to sew a long gown. Let's start learning to manage our lives according to the convenience of our resources, of our available resources, not an external resources. Many of us would have lived better, would have lived longer, would have lived with little or no stress. Many of us would have avoided depression if only we can learn these principles. Why do you take this loan? In the next 2 weeks, in the next 2 months, in the next 2 years, will you still look back and appreciate the decision you are taking or you've taken? Will the need still be that urgent and necessary? Do you have a stable income that is independent of someone else to pay back this loan? That is a business that functions on its own, multiple sources of income to pay it back. Then you're talking, then you can take this loan. But if everything is dependent on external forces, maybe you're taking a loan of $50,000 to do a wedding and believing, hoping that I will dance the gift that people give to me, I'll use it to pay back the loan. Excuse me, but who does that? Go and ask those you want to impress and let them share their experience with you. And they will tell us their mistakes, their errors. Maybe it will change the way we think about things. Even students, youth. Why borrow money to buy something that is not yet your level just to impress a lady, a guy, or the set of friends you have? This is the mistake we all continually make. Even in some churches, they push their members to go beyond their means. Let's stop living this fake life. Let's stop doing things beyond our means. It kills us within. It empties us within. It pushes us into depression. And nobody will be there to help you out. Nobody will be there to bail you. Rather, there will be the same set of people gossiping about you. Now, even if you are not a Christian, but I keep telling people that the Bible is complete. It's a collection of life principles This has nothing to do with you're a believer or not. You apply them, it works for you. In the Bible, it says the borrower is a servant to the lender. It's the reality. Because your peace of mind will be determined, will be influenced by the person that borrowed you money. If the person keeps pestering your life, you are in for it. Even should it be from a financial institution, you are faced with embarrassment, you're faced with harassment, you're faced with lack of respect, you are faced with low self-esteem, you're faced with diminished self-dignity. I think we need to start thinking of all this. If we think of the repercussions and the consequences of the daily actions we take, maybe it would have changed our orientation, our mindset about the way we do things. Before you borrow that money from your friend, before you ridicule yourself, ask yourself, do you truly need it? Why? As in, cross-check yourself. Why do I need it? When we talk of the rich and the poor, it has nothing to do with your bank account. It's the mindset. It's the mentality. Whereas some people will tell you, I prefer to do a small wedding. If you like, come. If you like, don't come. If you like, eat. If you like, do it. I'm not here to impress you. I prefer to borrow money, get something, set up some business, or go into real estate, or buy like 5 plots of land, start building small apartments, lease it out to people that I know in the next 5 years I can cross my leg and call myself a rich person. There are people that have that mentality, Stop thinking everybody thinks like you now. So I will be leaving us with this. I want us to meditate on this and brainstorm on this, correct your ways. If you have the opportunity and the access to a big loan, do something with it, not to buy a car. Since the day you've been trekking, you've been walking and going through public transport, you've not died. So if you still enjoy it a little for 1 year, it's not going to be obituary. It's better for people to look down on you and they find out later that they've trespassed, as in that, wow, you are loaded, let me use that word, than the other way around. Then they should perceive you to be loaded, but in reality, behind you, some people are mocking that. Is it that one? No. Let people praise you when they find out your secret, than ridicule you when they find out your secret. That will be all for today. Never hesitate to share with a friend. Okay? See you next time. Ciao, ciao.